In the previous episode, Winston and I travelled south to the North Pennines, crossing the border from Scotland into England. On the way, we stopped at some services and enjoyed a Greggs before continuing to our 16th and final campsite of this 2-month-long adventure. We pitched, refueled and had a good night's sleep, ready to explore the next day. Good morning. So it's 8:30. It is an absolutely beautiful day. I can see 2 clouds in the sky and the rest is just blue. So I've been up and had breakfast. I've got my laptop down here. I've just been doing a little bit of admin while Winston has his morning snoozes. He likes his snoozes. As soon as he's had breakfast and he's been to the toilet and he's had his little morning wander, he's straight back to bed. So whilst he sleeps, I'm going to get dressed and wash my face and sort myself out and then get ready because we're going off on a walk. Now, we are currently near Barnard Castle. And we've actually been to this area before. We stayed at the Camping and Caravanning Club site at Barnard Castle last year. And we had a wonderful time, but we've seen kind of like the highlights around the area. So some of them have been Barnard Castle. We saw the high force waterfall and the low force waterfall on a lovely walk down the river. That was one of my favourite things about coming here last year. So I'm going to try and see different things this time. Now, unfortunately, I didn't vlog last year. So when we came to the campsite, there's no real record of what we did. I had my phone and I recorded some bits on my phone, which I will have probably put on screen as I've been talking about this to kind of show you what I was talking about. So I'm going to get dressed and get ready to go. I need to get the bike off the roof of the van, put it to the front of the pod. I could keep it on the top of the van and just go to wherever we're going, but the problem is I don't want to get too used to it being there because I will just forget about it and drive under something low or take it out on a low-hanging tree. So I only put it on the van when I'm moving from campsite to campsite, and I try to take it off when I'm driving around. Again, I just don't want to get too used to it being there and get too complacent about having this extra height added to my van. So let's go do that and let's go and enjoy this absolutely beautiful day. Now it's a hot day, so to help keep Winston cool, I tend to hose him down. And what happens is the water absorbs the heat from his body and then it evaporates away. And this is known as evaporative cooling. That feel better. So let's talk about this evaporative cooling, because there is a lot of misinformation being spread on the internet, leading people to think that if your dog is hot, you shouldn't put water on them. Now, if your dog is overheating, you put cold water on them. Now, actually, the best method is to submerge the dog in water. So think of something like a paddling pool or a stream of some type. But if you don't have a body of water big enough to submerge the dog, then you can just pour cold water on the dog continuously, like from a hose or maybe buckets of water, etc. Now, this is the best method for cooling a dog, a horse, or even a human. Now, if you want more information, I have linked to an infographic in the description box below that was made by the Royal Veterinary College. But now, let's enjoy the drive. Up we go. I think I'm panting harder than Winston is. that a weasel? Is that what that is? Are you having a poo? You're gonna have a poo, aren't you? Yeah, okay. Let me give you a bit of privacy. Okay, so it is a hot day. It's not scorching. I think it's currently about 14, 15 degrees Celsius. So it's not terrible, but it is warm enough that you need to be prepared, especially if you've got a dog like I have. And before we left for this adventure, Winston was clipped. But we've been on this adventure now for, well, over 2 months. So he's quite fluffy, which doesn't help with his cooling. Now, I just want to remind you that Winston is a senior dog. He was 12 years old at the time of recording, so I do have to take more care to prevent him from overheating than probably what I would have to do if he was younger, because then he'd probably be able to cope with the weather a lot better. So before we left the campsite, I hosed him down completely because the water helps him get rid of his body heat. I've also brought plenty of water for him. So I've got 2 bottles and we're going to be going to a water source. So we're going to a place where he can actually go swimming, he can go in the water to cool down, he can have a drink, and I can refill his water bottles as well. I've got my own water bottle, so I don't drink from them. And as we've stopped now, we've just done the hardest part of the hike, which is coming up a big hill. We've done that now. So I'm just letting Winston kind of get back to normal because he was panting a bit on the way up. I've let him have a drink. I have put some water over him again to help his body get rid of the heat. And then the rest of the walk is going to be relatively flat or downhill. And like I said, we're going to a water source. If we weren't going to a water source and if it was too uphill, I wouldn't have brought him. But he seems to be settling down now. So it's okay. Once you stop, it's not too bad because you've got a lovely breeze. There's flies everywhere. So you've got a lovely breeze and it's not, I mean, I feel like I want to put my jumper back on now. But when you're going uphill in heat, that's the difficult part. But he's, oh. You cooling now, eh? Little face. Right, so we're going to continue the walk now. Put that behind. So here's something that we stumbled upon, and it's West Rigg open cutting. Now this is basically a disused ironstone quarry that has a 20-kilometre long slip vein which is predominantly composed of quartz. And now it's a site of special scientific interest. Now we just passed by it, but actually I now regret not going and having a proper look at it. This is an absolutely beautiful area. No question about it. You can't deny that these views are not beautiful. However, it's not Scotland, is it? I don't know what it is about Scotland, but the views in Scotland just hit differently. That's still incredible. And I still like to look at it. But it's just not giving me the same feeling as what I've had wandering around Scotland and some of the views that we've had there. Beautiful, but not Scotland. So that water source there, I don't know if you can see it, but there's some cattle in it. We're not doing that. We're doing another one, which should be around there somewhere. So we walk up here, go across, come down, and there's like a dip. And we're going to be walking in between this dip, and there should be a water source over there. And then we're going to go past this one, but we're going to be walking down through here. But that does look nice, just kind of sat there. You having a sniff, Winst? You doing alright? Yeah. Take it steady, we're in no rush. Come on. So I really like this little camera. It is a DJI Action 4. I bought it specifically for this trip. Before that, I used to just use my phone. And this has made a big difference because I can just whap it out really quickly, video, put it away. I don't really have to worry about stopping and standing still because it gets rid of a lot of the camera shake. It produces a much better image than my phone does. And also I've attached it to this little, you can't see, but I've got like a little handy tripod on it. So it's really easy just to set up in different places and record, because what I don't want to be doing is spending ages setting up shots and balancing my phone and all. I just want to do it as quick as possible. And I want to record as I'm doing stuff, but I don't want the recording to take up all the time in my day, if that makes sense. I literally want to be documenting, not going out specifically to try and create a video, if that makes, I don't know if I'm explaining myself properly, but that's the purpose. And for all of that, that waffle, this camera's been perfect for that. But one thing, I thought that sheep was stuck. It's not, I thought it was stuck on its back. The one thing that I don't like about it, that it's not so good at, is close-up shots. So there's a couple of times when there's details that I would like to show you, but I can't, because the zooming in on it is pants. And if I try and get the camera really close, it oh, there's some sheep in the track. I'll get it in a sec. But if I try and zoom in, it's really pants. And if I try and get up close, again, it blurs in and out. So that's all I want to tell you. I like the camera. I just wish I had something that I could do close-up shots with. But I don't want to be carrying an additional camera. I've got enough to carry. I've got all this stuff. I've got 2 water bottles for Winston. Most of the stuff's for him. Where's he gone? There. There's the sheep down there. They're going the other way now. Winston came back to me because I stopped. So let me just walk Winston past these sheep. Winst. Winst. Right, stay with me. Good boy. Walk with me. So this isn't me protecting the sheep from my dog. This is me protecting my dog from the sheep. The reason why he doesn't chase sheep is that when he was younger, we went on a hike and we had to go through a gate, through a flock of them that were all around the gate. I think they were waiting to be fed or to come in or something. Anyway, I put him on a lead at that point. When I walked through, one of the sheep headbutted him, and I think he thought he got hit by an angry cloud. So it didn't hurt him, and if anything, it did him some good, because now he just stays away from them and he doesn't pay them any attention. But they're right in the path. they're walking up ahead at the moment. But because they're in the path, we're probably going to have to pass them quite close at some point. So by keeping Winston near me, I'm protecting him from the sheep. Which sounds crazy, but that's what I'm doing. So they keep looking back, but they've moved on quite far ahead now. We're going to be going down here, down to that stream there. So they'll probably stay way in front of us. Winston's still here. Sheep have gone up there now. We've just turned off down there. And we're walking down here. So I kept Winston walking next to me until we were past the flock of sheep, and then I released him. Now I know that Winston wouldn't chase the sheep, but sometimes his running around can startle them, and I didn't want that to happen, especially because they had their lambs with them. And then we got to the water where Winston could have a paddle and a cool down. Does that feel good? Yeah? Oh, I don't know why he thinks we're crossing over that, because we're not. We're actually going down this way. Come on then, let's get you back out. Well, you can follow it down, but we've got to walk down. Come in. I don't think you can get out that way. How far there? Oh. There we go. You're out. Come on. I think you just walked into a nettle. So where is Winston in this clip? Well, if you remember in the previous clip, he ran down the side of the bank to the stream. I actually preempted that he might do the same thing. So I got him to walk behind me and I release him just in a second. There he goes. if you're collecting water for your dog to drink, or even for yourself actually, if you are struggling, if you are low of supplies, always try to get it from a flowing water source, such as a stream. Do not get water from stagnant water sources, such as lakes or anything that's just got still water. Still water is where the bacteria is more likely to breed. Flowing water is going to be a better option for you. Well, especially for your dog. Obviously avoid doing it yourself. If you are short for water, then go for a flowing stream. Even better, have some either water purifying tablets, or you can get like containers that you can pass the water through to get rid of anything else that might be in there. But yeah, flowing water is always better than stagnant water. Stagnant water is where all the bacteria breeds. Just to clarify though, that water I collected was for Winston. I bought him 2 water bottles. He's used one, so I've just refilled it. And he's fine to drink from that, and it's also great for just kind of pouring over him to keep him cool. I've got another water bottle, which I don't mix up because I put squash in mine, so mine's purple. And I've got plenty, so I'm fine. Quite steep. You did it? Good boy. So there was just a really interesting bit back there. I tried to film a little bit, but it's kind of like a little waterfall under a bridge. I couldn't film it properly because there is a family there with young children, and they're having a picnic and playing some games, and I don't want to go filming a family and young children and then stick them on the internet. So I just, as soon as I came around the corner and saw them, I just turned the camera off and then tried to film a little bit without getting them in it. So yeah, it was a really interesting little bit though. If we can go down there. Back. Are you just going to come and wet me? That's all you're going to do? You're going to come and wet me, aren't you? I know. Yeah. See? My camera wet. Right, we need to get back out now. Winston, wait. Right, put that. Oh, he did it. Good boy, this way. So I'm currently refreshing Winston's recall. He's usually very good, but for some reason today, 2 and 3 times I'm having to call him, which I am not a fan of. He should come the first time. I don't know if it's because maybe he's getting a little deaf in his old age. I don't know. I'm not prepared to use that as an excuse just yet. So we have been refreshing it by just reinforcing it, calling his name, comes back, treat. Not letting him get too far away, calling his name, come back, treat. Because, yeah. He is a pro, but he can slip on a lot of things. He's very cheeky. So, pain in the water. You are cheeky, aren't you? And although Winston is generally a very good boy and he will do anything to please, he's still a dog. And if you let him get out of not coming back when you call or not doing something when you ask, he will push that boundary. He's very cheeky. But keep it positive and he's happy to do it all day long. But sometimes he does need this refresher. He's still a dog at the end of the day, he's not perfect. Winst! Good boy. Winston! Come! Take your time. Thank you. Good boy. Go on then. Go, go, go. Winst! Good boy. Go on then. Go, go. Winston! Good boy. Go on then, go. Right, so here's Winston being a little bit cheeky and disobedient. So he sees me coming around with his stool to jump in the van, and in his eagerness, he jumps in the wrong door. Now, because of his anticipation, I ask him to wait before jumping in the van. And even though I reinforced the command several times, he ignored it. Wait, get up. Wait. 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 Ah, wait. 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 Out. Get out. Now, because he ignored me, he has to come back out of the van and do it again. He has to wait until I tell him he can go in. No. Round. Wait. Right, come on. And then he can have his treats. Oh, he's cheeky sometimes, but he just tries too hard. He's like, I know you want me to go in, so I'm just going to go in. But that's not the game. He's got to wait till I tell him to go in. Haven't you? Eh? Cheeky. Right, let's get back to the campsite. I want some lunch. I am starving. Let's get the aircon on as well. Yeah. Where's your seatbelt? You always sat on your seatbelt. So that pig, I actually took it off him because it's filthy. It needs washing. So dirty and smelly. But he absolutely loves it. So I'm giving it back, but it's horrendous. It is. Hang on, let me show. So it's just all matted and smelly and horrible. But it's his favourite. So he's got it back. I think I'm just going to have to put up with a dirty toy until we get back home, and then I can wash it. I've only got a few days left. And then it's time for some lunch. Okay, so this afternoon's task is to work on a YouTube video for you guys. So today is Monday, and I like to have a video out every Wednesday evening. Now, because of the location that I'm in, the upload speeds are quite slow, which means I have to have this video finished by tomorrow so that I can upload it overnight and probably a little bit into Wednesday as well, to make sure that it is ready to go live for 6:30. So today and tomorrow is all about working on a video, and it does take me that long to do. I mean, the videos come out somewhere between 25 to 30 minutes long, or I aim for that. Sometimes that doesn't always work, and it might be a bit shorter or a bit longer. But yeah, the editing takes a long time. I would say about 2 to 3 days of work. I've already done a little bit of it so far. I've done like the opening scene, so it's a movie, but I've done like the opening edit, the recap, and the first little bit where I'm moving campsite. So yeah, I mean, that's about 3 minutes in length, and it took me about 4 or 5 hours to do. I mean, maybe I'm just really slow. That could be it as well, because sometimes I edit stuff and then I change my mind, so I've got to scrap it and start again, depending on how I want the story to go. I don't know why I'm rambling on. Should really just get to work. Later that evening, I take Winston to the off-lead dog area so he can play with his toy. Although it may seem as though we've just got back from a walk, we've actually been sat in the caravan for a good few hours, so it's good for him to move and stretch his legs, and it's also good for me. We then take a little walk down the river, which runs next to the campsite. And we do a bit of a loop and then head right back to the pod. So for my tea, I've got Weetabix. And that's because I had that pork steak for lunch. And what I did is, whilst I was eating that pork steak, I also cooked another pork steak because I thought it would be a good idea to cook another one, and then I can have that in a sandwich cold for tea. But because it tasted so good the first time, I ended up eating the second one. I then went to the shop. I got a white chocolate Magnum ice cream because it's a lovely day, you got to have an ice cream. And then I also got some chocolate for later, i.e. now, but I ended up eating half a big bar of Aero. So I'm kind of not hungry enough for a full meal, but I still feel like I should have something. And I am kind of craving carbs and fibre, so hence Weetabix. Oh, and I've also got a banana, so it's kind of healthy. But yeah. I have either one or two meals. I either make a proper meal with a protein, a carb, a veg, all good, or I just pig out on sweets, or I just pig out on carbs. It's kind of the three varieties that I have in this caravan. When I'm at home, I like to meal prep. So I'll cook like big batches of meals, like 10 servings, split them out into Tupperware and put them in the freezer. So when I get in this mood where I don't really want to cook a big meal, but I still want something to eat and I want to be kind of relatively healthy, then I'll just get one of those out and I will eat one of those meals. But in the pod, you don't have a freezer. So I've got to cook everything kind of fresh. I've got to cook every meal. There's only a few little things I can do kind of quickly, and they are like sandwiches, the John West tuna things, cereal and fruit. Not much else I can do. Maybe it can be quick to cook, but then you've got like the whole task of washing up, which again is a pain in the backside, especially because the sink's really tiny as well in the pod. I could go to the dishwashing, but you know, I'm kind of a bit lazy to do that. I like to do everything in the pod. I'm just whinging. I could do better, you know, but this is where my standards are currently at. This is a standard I'm happy to accept though, so this is a standard where I'm living at the moment. If I had higher standards, then maybe it'd be different. So it's 50p a shower, but when I asked how long do you get, they weren't sure. They didn't know. They said it's been a long time since they set it. They said about 7 to 10 minutes. So I am about to have a shower. Got all my stuff ready. And I'm going to time it. So I've got two 50p pieces just in case I get caught out. I'm going to get changed and we'll see how long you get for 50p. So it went off at 5 minutes. I've currently got a hair full of conditioner, so I'm going to have to put in another 50p. We have some midges. Not a lot, but enough. So I've got the light out. Just about to go to bed, and hopefully that's going to get rid of the few that I've managed to get in.